Well, it's another yet great morning for us to interact with you, our viewers at the KTN studios, about what transpired over the weekend in matters to do with sports. Of course, remember Harambee Stars played yesterday, and today we are going to delve into all that. But of course, again, we've brought to you two great people in the world of sport. First of all, we have a former international, Kenya international. He also played for again, another wonderful visitor from all the way the United States of America. He's come from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, to talk to us about what is all to do with Kenya Football Hall of Fame. But first of all, let's take it with the Harambee Stars. Harambee Stars have booked their place in the second round of the 2018 World Cup qualifiers after being held to a goalless draw against Minos, Mauritius in the competition's return leg clash staged at the Safaricom Stadium, Kasarani. Well, inside our studios we have Simon Mulama. Some of you would want to call him Simeon Mulama. He played for Mathare United and also played for Harambee Stars, but he also had a short stint in Egyptian League. But after that he went to the United States, where he studied a lot to do, I'm told, with criminology. Of course, I don't know if that also applies in football. But again, we also have another great gentleman from Atlanta, Georgia, Dwayne Cummings.
I'm Jambo.
To Jambo, Kenya. Welcome to Kenya.
Thank you.
Welcome again to the Kenya studio. But I'm very sure that you've been in Kenya for the last 3 or 4 days.
Yes, I have. 4 days now.
You've learned a few words, Swahili words.
Yeah, so asante sana.
Asante sana. Karibu sana. I can deduce that you look like Obama.
Oh.
Did he send you with the salams? Greetings to Kenya?
Yes. Yeah, now it's better to do Jambo. Yeah, I'm Jambo.
To Jambo.
How about Niaje?
That's the kind of sheng I think Simon Mulama is used to. Yeah. Simon, did you go to Kasarani to watch Harambee Stars play Mauritius?
I had a chance to watch the match. I was doing commentary, so I was with the match. In the match, though I was not physically at Kasarani.
Of course.
But I had the chance to watch and commentate on the game.
What were your impressions of that game? It ended 0-0.
Yeah, first of all, it's a good thing that the team made it to the second round, at least to get a chance to play against Cape Verde and see if they can make it to the group stage for the qualifiers of the World Cup. But overall, the overall performance of the team somehow did not really impress me. Based on the fact that we had a 5-2 victory away from home, I was looking at a team that will be more comfortable on the ball and be more creative and more entertaining football playing at home.
In other words, you're saying that they were not comfortable on the ball. What went wrong?
I just think that the entire team did not look comfortable enough on the ball. We did not see more than 7, 8, 9 passes being stringed together, and that's something that I would expect, especially playing a team that we had beaten 5 goals.
Dwayne, did you make time? Did you find time to go all the way to Kasarani?
I did. I got to watch the entire match. I got there about 2 hours early.
What were your impressions? Did you enjoy the game?
Well, I enjoyed the atmosphere. I'm glad that they are through to the next qualifier. But I agree with Simon that I thought there was a lack of cohesion. I thought that there was a lot of individuals giving some individual efforts, but you didn't see a unit of 11 players on the field. There were flashes of brilliance in the second half. Strung together 7 or 8 passes and had some good opportunities, but it just wasn't aggressive, especially after they scored 5 goals the match before.
Actually, having watched it just as the first game, and then you are aware, or maybe you have read from the media, Kenya is now to play against Cape Verde, which is highly ranked. They have most of their players from Portuguese league. Do you think from that performance, Kenyan team will struggle against a Polish side?
Candidly, yeah, they're going to have to find something in camp. They're going to have to find some magic. They're going to have to find a little more heart, maybe. Yeah.
What do you think going ahead to
against Cape Verde? Yes, it's going to be a tough match, but we've also known the national team rising up to the occasion. Anytime we find we play against bigger teams. I'm looking back at playing against Nigeria, playing against Tunisia, Morocco, and getting a point away from those teams.
Maybe individual effort. Can one safely say that maybe all of them, everyone wanted to get into the score sheet.
Yeah, that's very possible, because they were rushing shots from 20, 25 yards out that they could have just relaxed and, you know, perhaps given the ball to someone else that would have had an easier shot. The whole game just seemed like they were putting pressure on themselves to accomplish something, like maybe that they were trying to live up to the 5 goals that they had previously scored.
And make the fans relax and, you know, get the fans behind them.
Yeah, let's get into what has brought you guys here, and especially Dwayne Cummings all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, because over the weekend there was a function here in Kenya held at a hotel in Kileleshwa, where a Kenyan legend in the name of James Sianga, he did a lot in the world of football for Harambee Stars, for Kenya Boys, where he played, and on Harambee Stars goalkeeper James Sianga was inducted into the Kenya Football Hall of Fame at a ceremony conducted in Nairobi. Sianga first starred for Kenya at her first ever Africa Cup of Nations in 1972, and also led Tanzania's Simba FC to the CAF Champions League group stages, a first and only one to date for any East African country. His vision for them struggling Gor Mahia in 2008 has culminated in 3 straight Kenyan Premier League titles and several local cup honors for Gor Mahia. Besides handling the national team Harambee Stars, James Sianga has also launched the football careers of a number of players who ply their trade in different clubs worldwide. Guys, you've seen those wonderful pictures of James Sianga sitting next to his lovely wife and son during that ceremony. We are talking about inducting someone into the Hall of Fame. Now we have the Kenya Football Hall of Fame. I don't know, Dwayne, what do you understand by, or what does it mean, you know, to have a Football Hall of Fame, for that matter?
I think it's imperative in any sport in any country in the world that you recognize the people that have achieved in that sport, and undoubtedly he's one of the greatest, you know, as a player, 13 straight years, as a coach in more than one country, and what it does is it allows other people to begin to aspire to what they should become. You know, it gives them a mark. It's not that they're finished playing, coaching, administrating, and their season's over, or their year is over, their life is over. They have something now that they can aspire to, you know, leave a legacy. Historically, too, I think you as a player and anyone else and a coach, you want to know where the bar is set. So when you look at someone's at the Hall of Fame, you think, okay, that's where I need to be.
It's a great motivation. Great motivation.
Is it the first time, Simon Mulama, that you are hearing of a Hall of Fame, or is something that you've known all along?
Fortunately, I was in the US, and this happens a lot. So it wasn't my first time, and this is actually the 3rd time someone a Kenyan is being inducted in the Kenyan Hall of Fame by the footballers. So the first one was Joe Kadenge 2 years back, and then last year it was Mohamed Abbas. And then this year is James Sianga. So it's something that I've always known and I've always admired, wanted that to come back home.
What does it mean, you know, to be, you know, inducted in that Hall of Fame? How does it feel like? Is it a place you say, now I've done enough, I'm going back in there just to relax and enjoy the fame?
No, actually I think it kind of steps up the ante a little bit, because now your peers and the community recognize you as a leader, as somebody to be admired, and so you have a responsibility at that point to give back to the community. And I know he's been giving his whole life. He's a very humble man. He doesn't like politics, but you know, everyone else is determined he's a leader now. He didn't say it himself, so he has an obligation to lead and to show other people the path.
He has to live up to that now.
Yeah. But he is an American, Duane Cummings, you know, coming to Kenya and really talking about Kenyan greats. How did it come about that you got to know about Kenya and its her players?
Yeah, that's interesting. That I coached university in the United States, and I heard James Sianga's name in 1996 was the first time.
That's a long time.
It is. It's almost 2 decades. And I had acquired and received some Kenyan players that became university students and student athletes, and the first thing I heard was, there's a man that we call Mbuyu.
Mbuyu.
Yeah, and so I learned real quick what that meant. And
they taught you Sheng?
yeah, and that's why I didn't know the proper way to greet your audience, because I'd heard more Sheng than anything else. And yeah, they told...
It's all down to Simon Malama, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who like communicating in Sheng. Yeah.
No, so they told me that I had big shoes to fill, and they explained to me that there was a man that had not only treated them well as a coach, but was like a father, and he had set a standard, and the reason they were in the United States was because he told them there always has to be more than football. You need to use football as a platform, but that shouldn't be how you're defined. You should become the greatest man you can. And so 2 decades ago, he made me a better coach because I felt like I had a standard to live up to. And so, you know, he impacted my life.
Looks humble on those screenshots. You can see James Sianga sitting, you know, next to his lovely wife.
Yeah.
And Mulama, talking about you know, the Hall of Fame. You said that you've been to the United States, and do you think really it's worth celebrating Sianga?
Oh yeah, I think it is. Having played in his team, I think it was in 2000, and I remember well because we lost in the final of the Castle Lager Cup, and he was the coach.
He was the coach then.
And I did not like taking penalties, and we got to the point where we needed to take PKs, and he chose me and said, "Stop hiding behind everyone else. You come and take the third penalty." But unfortunately, I missed that. But I think all that he has done, all the players that I've known, and especially the guys who attended the function over the weekend, everyone, JJ Masiga, Oswayo, everyone else, Alberto Cage, people talk so well of him, people that were before me, and anyone that played while I was playing and Sianga was coach actively. I think based on that, it's really worth celebrating him. You know, it's always good to celebrate whoever set the foundation for you. Because if it wasn't for guys like him, I don't think we could have played up to where we did.
We can safely say that he's a living legend from all this that we learned over the weekend.
No doubt. And I think one thing that gets missed is Saturday was his day. That's when the light was shined on him.
Yes.
But it's a reflection of all Kenyan footballers. I mean, he's reflecting the light, all that's good in Kenyan football and African football, and you know, it crossed the globe. It affected my life. You know, so he needs to be celebrated. And there are many other Kenyan footballers, administrators.
There are a lot of negative things to talk about in Kenyan football, but then talking about James Sianga there, really, it has really to be one of those height of the good things of Kenyan football.
Oh yeah, for sure, no question.
Yeah, one of the good things that has happened in Kenyan football is having guys like him. Because even at his age, he tells you he works hard to coach the U12 kids, U14 kids at this age. Not so many people want to do that when they get so much qualifications under their belt. You know, everyone wants to run to the national team and to the KPL team, the Premier League teams, but forget about where it all started.
Yeah. Yeah, you during the ceremony, you mentioned quite a number of Kenyan footballers that you met in the United States. Some of whom you said have really inspired you.
For sure, I was blessed that I had Jared Origi, who's on the executive committee, Eric Ochieng Cantu, Joseph Osewe Adach, Jacob Otieno, Patrick Omondi. I was blessed to have some great Kenyan footballers, so I knew the standard of Kenyan football was way up there. And all of them had a relationship one way or another. Even the players we played against, Tom Odiembo, you know, we had to play against him. Simon played at a university that we had to play against. So I knew what the standard was, and if all those players had been affected positively by him, I knew he was a man that I had to meet.
We don't have much time, to go. We should be winding up, and then I would ask this question. We all know the character of James Sianga. He's a laid-back guy, doesn't like trouble. Now that he's been inducted in the Kenyan Football Hall of Fame, what are his responsibilities?
I think he has a huge responsibility because there's 3 inductees so far in the Hall. It's kind of like an ember, and I think it's their responsibility to help fan the flames. And he gives back, no question. He's humble. He's still coaching, but now I think he needs to use his voice. His peers and everyone have told him, "We respect you. We're going to listen to you. We're honoring you." I think he has to step up now.
Just as a wrap-up, you've played under him. Do you think he's got that voice?
He's very humble, but now that he's been elevated to that level where they say you are a Hall of Famer, now he really needs to live up to that standard, up to that bar that everyone has set for him.
Do you think the Federation can listen to him?
It's not about if they can listen to him, it is they should listen to him.
Viewers, we've come to the end of the sports chat section of Morning Express. In the studios, I had 2 great fellas from the US, Atlanta, Georgia, Dwayne Cummings. Thank you very much for finding time to come to our studios and talk to us about this. Simon Mulama, another great. Hopefully, in many years to come, you'll also be inducted in the Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. Until next week, I've been your presenter, Robin Toskin.